Hello everybody. For day one of my 2026 Birding Big Year, in which I'm challenging myself to find at least 300 birds in this calendar year, I visited Tishomingo National Wildlife Refuge on the north shore of Lake Texoma. It's a pretty reliable place to find quite a few species of birds, but you kind of have to work for it. And by that I mean, you gotta get out of your vehicle and hike through the grasslands and the woodlands, and you'll find the greatest variety of birds. After not being able to go birding on the first day of the year for the last several years due to familial obligations, this year I was quite happy to get to go on New Year's Day. However, I only had about 6 hours that morning, and more than 2 hours would be spent on driving. And because I had such little time, I only set my day one goal at 50 species. And so I woke up and looked out the window at the feeders and saw the usual early morning suspects, northern cardinals, dark-eyed juncos, and there were a few house sparrows as well. Before leaving, also at the feeders, I saw a Carolina chickadee and a downy woodpecker. While on the road, I added American crow, blue jay, European starling, black vulture, eastern bluebird, Eurasian collared dove, northern mockingbird, and a mourning dove. While in the area of some grasslands, I pulled off on a county road and saw Savannah sparrows, American kestrels, a couple of red-tailed hawks, and this is what red-tailed hawks look like when you stop a vehicle to take a photo. An eastern meadowlark, turkey vultures, a loggerhead shrike, and a northern harrier male. I didn't get to photograph it, but it's always nice to see the male, the gray ghost. Also on the county roads, I saw song sparrows, which are winter visitors to the area. As you can see by this map, song sparrows have permanent ranges in the western and eastern parts of the United States, and their winter range dips down south into Mexico. I also happened to see dozens of song sparrows at the refuge, so it appears they are quite abundant this year. And while at the refuge, I got out and started hiking along the north shore of the lake. Pretty much immediately, there was a flyover by an adult bald eagle, which was awesome. No matter how many eagles I've seen in my life, I still get excited when I see one. And I've seen some stuff online where experienced birders apparently make fun of amateur birders with the quote, "Have you seen the eagles?" I guess they're making fun of people for that, but I'm not certain. If that's it, it seems awfully snobby to me. I come from a generation where there weren't very many bald eagles left. When I was a kid, I only saw bald eagles in paintings and photographs. In fact, I was probably 13 years old before I actually saw a bald eagle with my own eyes. My brother was driving down a road at Hagerman National Wildlife Refuge in North Texas, and I looked up through the windshield while scanning the skies for birds when I saw the bald eagle. I will never forget looking up and seeing the long dark wings and the white head and tail, which contrasted against the brown bird and the deep blue sky above it. I yelled out, "Bald eagle!" And if I recall correctly, my brother didn't believe me, but he pulled over anyway. I jumped out and took this photo, which is not a very good photo. However, the eagle was soaring high above, and the only camera I had at the time was a Minolta film camera with a 200mm Vivitar lens. It wasn't great, but it did the trick. Memory preserved. And just FYI, for all you young whippersnappers, I had to wait a week for the photos to be developed and come back to me, because that's the way it was back then. I mean, it's possible I paid extra for the fancy new 1-hour processing, but I only did that about 10% of the time due to the high cost.
And can anyone explain to me the need for 1-hour photo finishing? You just saw the thing!
Surprisingly, to me anyway, that eagle sighting was over 40 years ago and I still remember it like it was yesterday. So yeah, I still get excited when I see an eagle, and I probably will until the end of my days. But going back to day one, the eagle flying over stirred up a group of maybe 24 ring-billed gulls and foresters' terns. Also, while walking along the shore, I spooked up a Wilson snipe, and there was a very vocal greater yellowlegs, as seen here, or heard, rather. Also in the lake were quite a few green-winged teal, a couple of gadwalls, a few mallards, and a great blue heron. After leaving the lakeshore, I headed into the grasslands and located a few Lincoln sparrows, and then quite a few swamp sparrows, which I was happy to find. Swamp sparrows are winter birds here that can be uncommon to the area, and sometimes I really have to go looking to find one on any given year. And I've heard that down at Hagerman Refuge in Texas, which is on the south shore of Lake Texoma, that swamp sparrows are kind of scarce this winter. However, while I was at Tishomingo, I probably saw a few dozen in a very short time, so they are quite abundant there this year. I thoroughly enjoy these little birds, which are probably overlooked as they may appear dull to some people, but I like them. Some years back, I captured this moment in time when a swamp sparrow attacked a savanna sparrow when it got too close. Soon after, I saw a couple of other birds which are abundant in the area during the winter: the yellow-rumped warbler and the white-throated sparrow. To be honest, the white-throated sparrow, which is a winter bird here, is so numerous you probably couldn't throw a rock without hitting one. However, to me, it really is a beautiful bird, especially among sparrows. Also, I saw and heard quite a few northern flickers, feeding on the ground and in the trees. And also got this brief flyby of red-winged blackbirds. This ruby-crowned kinglet, which had more yellow coloring on it than anyone I've ever seen before, made a memorable appearance. I soon moved to a different area, which was a mixture of grasslands and low woodlands, and saw quite a few American goldfinches, and also a white-breasted nuthatch, and some chatty red-headed woodpeckers, both adults and immature. Perhaps the most surprising find of the day was quite a few brown creepers. While they are most certainly here each winter, it seems that I have to go searching for them every year just to find one, if I'm lucky. However, on this day, I was seeing and hearing them just about everywhere I went. I love these little birds. They have such a unique look. They look like they've been pieced together with several other species. They have spine-tipped tail feathers, similar to chimney swifts, curved little bills, similar to wrens. So what are they? Well, they're just weird little songbirds with a unique look, but I love to watch them every chance I get. Since they don't really climb downward on trees, like nuthatches do, they often fly to the low portion of a tree trunk, then bounce their way up, searching for food. Here's a range map for the brown creeper, courtesy of the National Audubon Society. Something else I noted: while fox sparrows always seem to be plentiful at the refuge during the winter, on this day I only saw one, and I felt quite fortunate to see it. I also pished up some Carolina wrens, and this particular bird was not a fan of my pishing, so it spent quite a few minutes cursing at me. A little bit later, I briefly saw and heard a hairy woodpecker, then finally saw an eastern phoebe. I usually can't walk 100 feet without seeing an eastern phoebe, but this year they seemed kind of scarce at the refuge, or maybe it was just that day in particular. Also, in a field, I saw a somewhat small flock of Ross's geese, with a few snow geese mixed in. Overall, I was happy with what I found, but there were some birds I didn't get to see. While I normally find winter wrens without much trouble at all at the refuge, I couldn't find any on that day. And also because I didn't go as deep into the woods as I would have liked, I didn't see a hermit thrush, which I normally do there. There were a few other bird species as well, such as a vesper sparrow, but I will get those birds later, I'm sure. Additionally, I heard but couldn't positively ID by sight several birds including golden-crowned kinglet, Buick's wren, American robin, common grackle, yellow-bellied sapsucker, and Harris's sparrow, so I didn't count them. However, those are birds that I will surely see in the next few weeks, so it's not a big deal that I missed them. On the way home, I stopped by a large pond alongside of a county road just off the highway where I saw quite a few ringneck ducks. And just before getting home, I also saw some rock pigeons, which put me at 52 birds for the day. Not too bad for 6 hours. Plus, like I mentioned earlier, I was just happy to have a few hours of birding on January 1st. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you.
Oh, hello. I'm Randy from Randy's Natural World. I hope you enjoyed the video on
2026 birding big year.
Yes, that's it. Today I'm pretending to be a scientist. Maybe I'm doing research on a 5 o'clock shadow, I'm not sure. But that's neither here nor there. I'm hoping to speak to those of you who haven't subscribed yet. Here's a list of reasons why you should. It's free. You can't beat that price. Number 2, quality content. Always quality content. Number 3, YouTube allows unlimited subscriptions, so there's no reason not to. Anyway, number 4, are you a procrastinator? There's no need to procrastinate. And I know what you're thinking, Randy, I'll subscribe when I get around to it. Well, here's your round to it right here. Round to it. So go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead. A wise decision.